Equivalent fractions. Let's write down two different ways the fraction of this large square which has been shaded red. Okay, so here we've got this square and we've chopped it up into a certain amount of smaller squares, and then part of that is colored in red here. Okay, so here we immediately see we can count the smaller squares 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 squares total in this shape. So that means the denominator will be 9. There will be some amount of ninths that is shaded for this picture. So with this one here, there will be some amount of ninths. So we'll put 9 on the bottom of our fraction. So now the numerator, when we're looking at ninths, we have to just count how many have been shaded red. So there are 1, 2, 3 that are shaded red for this picture. So 3 out of 9 for this square have been shaded red. Okay, but we're looking for two different ways that we can write this down. So if we look at this here, we'll notice that this can also be split up in different ways. So actually this picture, if we took away these two vertical stripes here, then we would have taken the same square, which I'll just draw freehand over here. Take the same square, and if you take away the vertical stripes, then you're just left with two horizontal ones. And this part here has been colored in red. So we've drawn basically the same thing. This and this are basically the same. So now we can write a different fraction. So for this one here, we've got 1, 2, 3 parts. 3 will be the denominator. There's 3 parts, and one of them has been shaded in red. So 1/3 of this picture has been shaded in red. When we look at this, 3/9 of this picture has been shaded in red. And of course, that's the same fraction. It means the same thing. If we multiply 1/3 by 3, right? If we multiply 1 by 3 and 3 by 3, then we get 1 by 3 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So they are indeed the same. Okay, now let's look at this. Let's complete these expressions. So, to get from 4 to 12, what do? We have to maintain, first of all, these fractions have to stay proportional. They have to stay meaning the same thing. And so we can't add, we have to multiply by something. So 4 times what equals 12? Well, that's 4 times 3. Okay, so if we take 4 times 3 to get 12, to keep these proportional, we can multiply the numerator by the same value as the denominator. And if we multiply 3 times 3, we will get 9. So 9/12 is the same as 3/4. Let's look at this one here. How do we go from 3 to 15? We multiply 3 by 5. So if we do the same thing to the numerator here, then we'll have 2 times 5 is 10. So 10/15 is the same as 2/3. 2/3 is the simplified version of 10/15. Here we need to go from 6 to 18, so we multiply 6 by 3. Do the same to the numerator, and 5 times 3 is 15. So 15/18 is saying the same thing as 5/6. 12 to 3, what do? See, in the first 3 examples we multiplied. We can go the other way. Okay, we can simplify this one. 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. So if we do the same thing to the numerator, 4 divided by 4, we get 1. And so 1/3 is actually the simplest fraction for 4/12. Let's write each of the following in their simplest form. Now, 8/18 we'll start with. So what we need to do is find what value can we divide 8 and 18 by. What can we divide 8 and 18 by? Actually, we're looking for the highest common factor, but we'll do it step by step here. They're both even, so we can divide them both by 2. So if we divide 8 by 2, actually I'm going to color that in blue. If we divide 8 by 2, then we'll get 4. And if we divide 18 by 2, because they're both even, then we'll get 9. And this cannot be reduced any further. So 4/9 is indeed the lowest that we can go. Okay, 5/40. Both of these values can be divided by 5. And if we do so, we will get 5 divided by 5 is 1, 40 divided by 5 is 8. So 1/8 is the simplest form for 5 over 40. Let's look here at 12 and 32. Okay, so they're both even. We could divide them both by 2. But if we look for the highest common factor, we'll actually notice that it's 4 between 12 and 32. So we can actually go straight to the answer. We can divide 12 by 4 and 32 by 4. So in the numerator, we will get 3, and denominator, we will get 8. So 3/8 is 12 over 32. If we didn't notice right away that 4 was the highest common factor of 12 and 32, we could have made a list, but that takes a while sometimes depending on what values you have. We could have got there just doing it step by step, so we could have said, well, these are even, so we'll divide them both by 2. It's 12 divided by 2 and 32 divided by 2. And then we would have had 6 over 16. And then we might have said, oh, well, we're not finished yet because these are both even still, so let's divide by 2 again, right? And so 16 divided by 2 will give us 3, and 6 divided by 2 would give us 3, and 16 divided by 2 would give us 8. So we get the same answer, we've just gone about it a little bit different way, but the result is the same. So 3/8 is the simplest form of 12 30-seconds.